Finally, we have the test for recreational pilots. So in this video, I'm going to dig into that test. Hello and welcome to LegalDrone, where we talk about drones and other tech stuff. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Before we begin, as always, this is not legal advice. So in the past month, there have been a few changes about tests and when it comes to drones. So the first one that we have is that drone pilots with a Part 107 certificate doesn't have to take the recurrent test. That is eliminated. So now we have what has been called the Recreational UAS Safety Test, or TRUST. About the requirements for commercial pilots or Part 107 pilots, I will make another video for that. So in this video, I'm going to dig into this new TRUST test. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to divide this video into three major topics. The first one is what does this test covers, the topics that the test covers. The second one that I'm going to cover is if this test is hard or it is easy. And the third one is where you can take this test. So let's dig into the video. So the first one is what does this test cover? So this test is basically a test that's going to test you on basic stuff about drones. So you will have some basic information about the requirements for recreational pilots, for example, that you have to take the test. That is one of the new requirements that are issued, or this was a requirement that was introduced on the reauthorization bill for the regulation of drones. And finally, 3 years later, we have the test. Another thing that's going to be covered in this test is the airspace regulations. So you will see things like temporary flight restrictions, how to read the grid when it comes to airspace restricted around airports, how to use lands, how to use applications to see whether you are going to fly in a restricted airspace, and if you need to get a lands authorization. All those things are going to be covered in that particular section. Of course, altitude limits, the 400 AGL altitude requirement or restriction is going to be covered into that particular section. The next thing is going to be pre-flight, or things that pilots should do before they start flight, like checking if you are going to fly for the first time, for example, checking the manufacturer's information, doing a inspection of your drone, things like that. Another thing is that things that can impair your ability to fly. Then you go to a very important topic, that is the visual line of sight, and there you will see that you have to fly your drone within the visual line of sight. All those things are covered in that particular section. And finally, you will have a section that is called something like drone systems. It's basically what are the requirements for registration of your drone. Things like you have to be carrying at all times your proof of registration and your proof that you passed the test, and that you have to put on the identification number into your drone. So that's basically what's covered on this test. So let's move on to our second topic. Is this test hard or is this test easy? Well, this test isn't designed to get people not to pass it. This test is designed for people to pass the exam. So you will see that you will get a written section, and after you get that written section, you will get ask a few questions. Even if you get a question wrong, you will get an explanation on why you got that question wrong. The idea of this test is that drone pilots that are doing it for recreational purposes, get a basic knowledge on what they can do and what they can't do with their drones, and how to handle basic stuff like lands authorization that people will like to fly on places near airports. And if you can do it, it's really easy to get a lands authorization for that. The test will take you like 30 minutes. If you don't know anything about drones, it might take you less time. If you are a person that knows a lot about all the stuff that is going to be asked in the exam. So I took the exam, and it's something that it's designed to pass people. It is designed for people to pass the exam. It's not something that is designed to ask you tricky questions or something like that. The questions are very straightforward from the things that you have read in the reading section. So that is a thing that you need to keep in mind. This test isn't designed for you to get a fail grade. No, it's designed for people to pass. So finally, where you can take this test. So the FAA issued the notification about that they have the test up and running, and they publish a list of websites that you can take this test. This test should be free, and you get your certificate right away when you get your pass grade from the exam. So I took the exam in the Pilot Institute website, but there are a lot of websites. I'm going to put the link to each of the websites in my description, or at least a few of them. There are a lot of places that you can take this test, so be sure to check on the description for the websites for each test. After you pass, you're going to get a certificate like the one that I'm showing you in the screen, because I took the exam, so I wanted to know how hard or how easy this test is. So it's not designed to fail people, like I said. So you have to remember that you have to carry the proof that you took and passed the test. So you have to carry it with you at all times. So the second thing is that I took the exam in my cell phone. So you can take your exam at your cell phone, and you can print the certificate right away. You have to remember, at least where I took the exam, that was the Pilot Institute website, your account gets deleted right away. After you pass the exam, you get your certificate and your account is deleted. So if you misplace your certificate, or you can't find it, or you lost it, you will have to take the exam again. But remember, it's an easy test. It's designed for people to know the basic stuff about drones and a few regulations. I think these are the things that most people get confused when they get their drones. So I think it's a very good thing that at least in terms of safety, people are getting some knowledge about drones. So I think that's all for this video. If you have any comments, you can leave it in the comment section. If you like the video, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I post videos about drone regulations and other stuff related to drones and technology. So you can subscribe to the channel if you like. It really goes a long way. Thank you for watching again, and see you next time.